Okay, my name is Amos Kambonde. I'm the manager for marketing services at the GIPF, responsible for marketing, branding, retention, and outreach programs. In today's episode, we are going to focus mainly on the member education. 80% of people's problems are linked either directly or indirectly to money. And as you know, we live in a country whereby financial literacy or financial planning is an issue. Therefore, GIPF as a pension fund, we are responsible for making sure that our members are well educated, are well equipped with information when it comes to retirement planning. We are not only focusing mainly on the GIPF members, but if you know that GIPF is the biggest pension fund in this country, and we are responsible for pension benefits that goes to almost each and every village in this country. Almost in each and every household in this country, there is a GIPF member. Our role as GIPF is to make sure that these members or the public, they are aware of what are the implications when it comes to financial planning. Here, I also want to touch on two important factors. One is how GIPF improves people's lives. This is basically by making sure that we pay the benefits that are due to members. And the other angle is the way how GIPF also do investments. When we're talking about benefits that we pay, like I said, as I alluded earlier, is that in each and every house, there should be a GIPF member. And our role as a fund, we want to make sure that members are paid benefits that are due to them, but not only when we pay, but we also want them to understand what to do with the money that they get. On the other angle, it's basically when GIPF collect what we call contribution, we don't keep it at GIPF buildings, or we invest, we put it in banks, but we invest this money. But most of the bulk of this money, it also goes back into the economy. But again, we want to make sure that people understand the implication on what GIPF is contributing to the Namibian economy. Okay, retirement planning is very important, in the sense that so many of our members only come to think about retirement planning when they're about to go on retirement. But in essence of things, retirement planning should start the very first day when you enter the job market. The whole idea of people only talking about, when you only start talking about retirement planning the last year, you are not prepared to go on retirement. As you know, you have been maybe working for government for about 30 years. You have been getting up early in the morning, you go to work, and then you've been using the company's facility or the minister's facility. You make use of the company's car, you get S&T on a daily basis. But now, when you're going on retirement, some of these benefits, they are no longer going to be there. Therefore, our role as GIPF is to prepare our members so that when they go on retirement, they are well prepared and they know what they are going to do. The critical element is that when you join public service or government, my emphasis is that the first step that we as GIPF need to do is to make sure that we give you enough information on how to plan for your retirement as early as your first day when you get into the office. And we should not wait until the last day when you're about to go on retirement. When we do that, and then we are not there for you, because the decision that you're going to make, or the decision that you're supposed to do long time ago, maybe 20 years ago when you started working, they are not going to be fulfilled because we have that gap has already lapsed. So many times, members, whenever they get now their retirement benefits, there's the only time that they want to do almost everything that they could have done during their working career. There's a time when they're going on retirement, when they get their lump sum, there's a time that they want to buy a brand new car. There's a time that they want to build a mansion somewhere in a village, double story in a village. There's a time that they want to go into farming. There's a time that they want to start a shebeen or a business. By then, I think to me or to the fund, it's a bit too late to do that. Because when you get your lump sum, you're not supposed to use that money for buying a brand new car, because that car will cost you a lot of money that will deplete your your retirement benefit. When you build a very big machine that is not going to generate any money, that also depletes your savings or your retirement benefit. When you invest your money into farming, which so many times, sometimes people haven't done any farming in their life because we believe in copying other people, what they do. Now there's a time that you want to buy a cattle here, a goat there, a sheep there, but you might not even have looked after a goat or a sheep. And then there comes the drought. All the animals, they perish, they are gone. And then we put in all your money. There won't be any return. And then that's a very big mistake that you always do. Let me go back to the members that always want to build these big houses with their lump sum. To me, it's a common mistake that we always make. That you want to build a house while you are going on retirement, thinking that you are at the age of 60 or 55 going up. Think about your kids. Those kids are big enough to start their own lives. Now you build this big house, and then you'll be there alone. And maybe if you are married, you'll be there with your wife. And then in that money that you put in that big house, you're supposed to invest that money somewhere so that it can be giving you a return on a monthly basis so that you can sustain yourself. But now we are investing some money into things that we won't get any return from. Therefore, all I'm encouraging is that we seriously need financial literacy or financial planning so that whenever, before we go on retirement, we are well equipped with information that has to do with how should we go about lump sums or money that we get. The common mistake that we always make as Namibians or as employees is that we seek advice from people that has no financial background or people that are not financial advisors. The very first people, when you are with your friends somewhere, those are the guys that will give you advice. When you are at home, your wife or your husband, your people that have interest in you, those are the people that you take their advice. All I want to say here, if you are sick, you can't go to a mechanic, but you go to a doctor, because the doctors will be able to diagnose that what type of sickness do you have. And if your car is broken somewhere, you don't go to a financial advisor to ask advice about mechanical issues on your car. You go to a garage so that you get a mechanic to fix your car. And if now you are getting advice from a person that doesn't know anything about financial planning, will you be able to get the necessary information that you need? Therefore, all I'm saying is that we need to educate ourselves to make sure that whenever things that has to do with financial planning or retirement, we need to speak to people that have experience in financial terms or investment or financial advisors. And you cannot just take advice from people that have an interest in us. Just imagine you telling a person that I got a lump sum, and then this person is your sister, your brother. They always want to make sure that I buy a nice car, because to them it's about that car that they want to make use of each and every drive around, go around and impress people and all these type of things. But when you go to a financial advisor or people that are well equipped with financial terms or information, they'll be able to tell you, no, don't spend such a huge amount of money into something that won't give you a return one day. Therefore, the essence is here that we need seriously to make sure that we redirect our focus so that we seek the correct information from the right people. Okay, members should understand what is the main purpose of pension funds. The main purpose of pension funds is basically to look after members when they go on retirement. We always get members asking us about can I withdraw from my pension? But with myself, I always say, what is your question? No, can I withdraw from my pension? And then I say, what is the last word in your question? It's pension. What does pension mean? It means retirement. That's basically mean retirement. Pension funds are there for you to look after you when you're on retirement. And in the absence of you going on retirement, if you happen to pass on, and then the fund that you are leaving behind, they should look after the dependents that you are leaving behind. and not necessary for you to be withdrawing. Because when you sign a contract, when you started working, you said, no, I'm going to work for the Ministry of Finance. From this, I'm going to earn a salary. On this salary, and the salary, I'm going to do A, B, C, and D. Why now your employer said, no, part of your salary, I'm going to take 7% of your salary that I'm going to save for you and give it to you when you're going on retirement. But the employer did not say, no, I'm going to give you the 7% somewhere in between. Just basically, the employer knew what he or she was doing, because he wants to look after you when you're on retirement, when you're not working. Because when you're working, you have a salary that's supposed to look after you. We all know that the cost of living, they are ever going up, and the salaries sometimes they don't go up. That's why we are always obligated, or we want to borrow from our pension. But the essence and the main purpose of pension funds basically is just to look after our members when they are on retirement. And also, like as I alluded earlier, is that in the absence of you going on retirement, if you happen to pass on, and then the funds that you are leaving behind, it's basically for your dependents that you are leaving behind. On the issue of nomination forms, we always encourage members to update their beneficial nomination form. This is a very simple form, but this form is crucial to the GIPF or any other pension fund. Because when you pass on, we need to pay out your benefits to the dependents that you are leaving behind. Therefore, we are always encouraging our members to make sure that they update their nomination form whenever there are changes in their life. But with the new act that is coming into effect very soon, the FEMA, it says that members should be updating their nomination form on a yearly basis. But you tend to find a person that only completed a nomination form the first day when they started working. And that can be 10, 15 years ago. But on that nomination form, there are those information when you only started working. That's basically, maybe by that time you were still a very young girl, boy, you never had dependent, you never had kids, you're not married whatsoever. But now on that nomination form, there might be only your mother, your father, or your best friend that you had by then. That's why it's important for our members to make sure that whenever there are changes in their lives, they need to get a new form, they complete a new form, and then that will be the new nomination form. I always give an example whenever we are out asking people that, have you ever heard about people saying, my parents or my mother or my father passed on 20 years ago, but until today, GIPF hasn't paid our money out. It's just because of that form. If that form has no correct information, therefore the fund won't be able to pay out the benefits. You tend to find sometimes is that kids are coming to our offices saying, no, my father passed on, but we haven't gotten any money. We know that there are other kids somewhere that were for my father or my mother, but we don't know. But now you expect GIPF to know about these kids. If you don't know yourself, you don't know your own sisters and brothers. That's why it's very important to a member, as an active member, to make sure that that form is current and it's updated. The claim process is very simple. We have two angles to it. For active members, it always starts from the employer. If you are going on retirement, you need to submit all your application, you need to complete all the forms at your employer side. Whereby now, if you have completed, depending now on the type of benefit that you do, if you are going on retirement, you complete all the forms at your employer, and then the employer submit these forms to GIPF. We always encourage members to make sure that 3 months before they go on retirement, they should submit, HR should submit those forms to GIPF so that GIPF can do the validation. Make sure that everything, all the paperwork, all the calculations are done. Therefore, when you are going on retirement, it will be a very simple and effortless process. It's just a matter of paying out. Other benefits like the death, they also start for an active member, they also start also from the employer side, whereby HR also requests the relatives of a deceased member to submit documents or sending documents, or they can go complete those documents that are required. For a retiree or a person that is on retirement, the claiming process always starts from the GIPF side, because once you go on retirement, GIPF takes over as your employer. In cases of whereby a member passed on as a pensioner, Now the relatives, they need to come directly to GIPF to complete forms. You don't necessarily have to go to the employer because you have retired from the employer. Therefore, you come to GIPF, you complete the claim forms, and then the process starts from there. The contribution, how it works is basically a member contributes 7% of his salary, pensionable salary. 7% come directly from a member's salary that is paid over to GIPF. The other contribution that we also get, it's 16% that is being paid by the employer. The 16% doesn't reflect on members' pay slip, but only the 7% that reflects on the members' pay slip. But with the 16% is being paid over directly to GIPF by the employer. In total, each and every member on a monthly basis contribute 23%. The time that now the contribution are paid to GIPF has the obligation to make sure that this money grow. How do you grow members' money? It's through investment. Therefore, the moment we take this contribution, we don't keep it in our buildings at GIPF, but we invest this money into different types of investment portfolios. Portfolios can vary. We invest in what we call unlisted investment or listed investments. We are regulated by NAMFISA. We have regulations whereby we are being mandated to make sure that we invest local. We can also invest offshore. When GIPF invests this money, it's basically for the money to grow. As we all know that GIPF is a defined benefit fund, and most of the benefits are guaranteed and they are lifelong. What does it mean to say lifelong? They are forever. That's basically the only time that they get finished is the time that you passed on, and in cases whereby there is a spouse and then or there are kids and then you have passed on in a certain type of period, and then the dependent can always claim. But most of our benefits are lifelong, basically meaning that you can pass on and then the next people can always get them, and then they continue receiving an income from GIPF. It's important for GIPF to make sure that they invest this money into the right instruments so that we get the right returns in order for us to fulfill a mandate of making sure that we pay our members lifelong. Okay, GIPF has many platforms on engaging members before they reach retirement age. We have what we call pre-retirement workshops, whereby they are targeting members that are about to go on retirement. In the past, we only used to think about 10 years before retirement. That's basically members from 50 years going up. We organize pre-retirement workshops, and then we put them in one hall, whereby we tell them about how will they be going to do or whatsoever when they go on retirement. But we don't do it in isolation as GIPF. We also have other collaborating stakeholders. We have companies like Allen Gray that comes in and talk about financial literacy. We have Bank of Namibia that give information about these Ponzi schemes, this marketing, network marketing. They create a number of things because our members always become victims of scammers. You know, whenever people are going on retirement, they all know in villages that who is going on retirement, and then they become targets. Therefore, we always depend on Bank of Namibia to give more awareness or give more information about all these things. We also call in CIMAS. CIMAS is one of it's a key stakeholders as well, because they also talk about medical aid. As you all know that when members are going on retirement, you know, the joints are becoming old and all these things. Therefore, we always want to give them information about their medical aid, that they can retain their medical aid, and then they can continue contributing to the scheme, and then they will be able to have their benefits. The purpose of us organizing this pre-retirement workshop is basically just to educate our members and to prepare them. As alluded at the beginning, is that as you are working, you have a lot of benefits that you might not have when you're in retirement. Therefore, we are there as a fund to make sure that we prepare you so that when you go on retirement, it doesn't become as a shock. Because so many people, when they go on retirement, they don't know anything. They don't know anything, or they don't know what to do with the money when they get their lump sum. That's why sometimes you tend to find that when they get their lump sum, they want to spend almost everything in one day. which is not the main purpose of retirement. We want, when you go on retirement, we want you to go enjoy your retirement. We don't want you, when you go on retirement, there's a time that you start sweating, working again. You've been working for the past 20 years or 30 years. But now when you go on retirement, there's a time that you're supposed now to relax, enjoy your retirement. We also have other vehicles. We have also post-retirement. These are some of the workshops or activities that we plan for our people, for our members, or our patients that are on retirement. When they're on retirement, they are still GIPF members. Therefore, we always want to make sure that we give them the correct information. We also want to check up on them, how are they doing. We look at things like wellness and all these things. We want to change it going forward. We do not only want to target members when they're about to go on retirement, but we want to make sure that we start with financial literacy or retirement planning as the first day a member is entering the job market. Here, when I'm talking about when they are entering the job market, you get recruited, you start working today. We want to talk about retirement planning already, because what we have seen is that a lot of members, they only come to think about retirement when they are going on retirement, and the young ones that are only starting now, they think retirement planning is only for the old people and then for us. But time flies. You might be 25 years today, but in few years time you see you are a pensioner. By then, if you are not prepared, and then you won't retire comfortably. That's why it's an obligation. It's our responsibility to make sure that our members are well equipped, are well educated, are well informed, and they are prepared to go on retirement. Because we have a lot of other portfolios or other investment type of platforms. People should not only think about retirement benefits. There are also other vehicles that member can make use, because whenever you only depend on one type of investment, as the cost of living, they are going up on a daily basis. The retirement package might not be enough to sustain you in retirement. That's why sometimes we always encourage members also to take up other types of investment. We have a lot of portfolios that members can make use of that are not offered by the GIPF, but they are offered by other companies in the industry. We are talking about things like unit trusts. We're talking about people investing in shares and other assets classes that are available in the market. This will make sure that members are comfortable when they are going on retirement. They have different avenues of revenue that they can benefit from. The first thing that our new colleagues that are just joining the job market, what they need to do is make sure that they educate themselves about financial planning. The key to this is that you need to be in a very comfortable situation when it comes to financial literacy. My message to them is that they should not see retirement planning as a term only aimed to those that are about to go on retirement, but they should think about it the first day that they enter the job market. That retirement planning should start the first day, and it should be with the person, that staff member, until they go on retirement. They should not wait until last minute. They need to make sure that they live within their means. This basically means they should not go overboard. They need to seek advice from financial advisors. As alluded at the beginning, is that we should not seek financial advice from people that are not satisfied, or people that are knowledgeable about financial planning. We should not go to a mechanic to get financial advice. We should not go to a medical doctor to get financial advice, but we should go to institutions that are there to give more information about financial planning or financial literacy. And we also have this thing of us buying ourselves. We always buy ourselves this very expensive smartphones. But we use these phones only to take pictures, and we don't use these phones to Google information or to seek for information. Our library is always in our hands. In order for us to capacitate ourselves, is to make sure that before you even sleep, go on your phone, Google for a term on investment or financial planning. you'll be able to get multiple of information on that. Put it at the back of your mind, and then from there, don't keep it to yourself, educate others. There's the only way how to do these things, but not necessarily just every time when you hear about retirement planning, it's only for the people that are about to go on retirement, but we should always start with financial planning as we enter the job market. I would love our members to make sure that they educate themselves about financial literacy. We want our members to be well informed about their benefits. We want our members to make sure that they know the different types of investments that GIPF make. We want to make sure that members should not only focus on pension benefits alone, but they should also cultivate a culture of doing other type of savings, because in the end, one day when you're going on retirement, you want to retire comfortably. We want to make sure that our members invest their money into vehicles that will give them a return one day. We want our members to make sure that they cultivate the culture of savings and investments, because the issue that we have most of the time is that we have people whereby instead of them controlling their money, now money is controlling them, which is a problem. We don't want our members to be controlled by their money, but we want them to control their money. That's basically mean that you should be able to handle, to know how to budget. You should know the difference between the needs and wants. We want our member to understand the budget model, whereby you need to make sure that 50% of your salary should go to items that are classified as needs. 30% of their salary should go to items that are classified as wants. And then lastly, the 20% should be invested or be saved. That's basically, there are any days that things can happen for no reasons that will require funds. Therefore, we are encouraging all our members to make sure that they acquaint themselves with the necessary information when it comes to financial planning.